Hello and welcome. Today we're making a classic hot dog recipe, the Chicago dog. This is a hot dog that's sometimes known as a drag it through the garden style, and that's because it has a ton of toppings. So let's look at those toppings right now. For your ingredients, you are going to need 1 pack all beef hot dogs, 1 pack hot dog buns, 1 dill pickle spear per hot dog, 2 sport peppers per hot dog. If necessary, you can substitute peperoncinis for these. They're pretty similar in taste. Chicago dog relish. If you can't find that, I'm actually going to show you how to make that in just a moment. 2 quarter-inch slices of tomatoes. You want them kind of on the thin side so that they can flex around the dog. You'll see in the construction section. Mustard, diced onions, about 5 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch. Again, you want them fairly small. And celery salt and melted butter, as well as poppy seeds. So, let's start out with the least available part, the relish. It's traditionally a bright green, so this is actually a super simple thing, and we just need to take a small drop of blue food coloring and add that to about 3 tablespoons or so of sweet relish. The natural yellow in the pickle will actually mix and cause the brighter green look. Oh yeah, one quick note on the relish, it really does need to be sweet relish. If you use dill relish, it throws off the flavor balance in my experience, and since you have a dill pickle spear, the sweetness helps offset the sport peppers. So, that keeps that spicy spike down and it levels them off just a little bit. For our buns, we want to brush a super light layer of butter or vegan spread. In my case on the buns I did a little too much, and then roll them in the poppy seeds. I brushed a little bit too much butter on and a bit too much poppy seeds on the plate, but I like poppy seeds, so I'd suggest using about half or 1/4 of what I'm using here. You just want a light number of them on the outside. They still tasted great, even with a little bit too much poppy seeds, and it did make the poppy part more noticeable. This is probably the least necessary part, though, and if you just want to skip it, it's probably fine because it doesn't add that much flavor. There are 2 traditional ways to cook your dogs, boiled and steamed. We're going to look at both here. For our first, we'll be steaming them. Once your steamer is steaming, put them in for just 5 minutes. That's all it takes. This is the type you'll get in most physical building type hot dog places. For this, any steamer type will do. I'm actually just using a 15-year-old rice cooker and then steaming it in the basket with that. If you're using hot dogs with skin, though, steaming is much better than boiling because steaming will very rarely split the skin and kind of explode out there, whereas if you boil them, it will almost always do that, and that's one of the good reasons to steam versus boiling if you're using a hot dog with a casing or skin. So, if you don't have a steamer, our second choice is to boil, aka the dirty dishwasher dog. Bring your water to a full boil and then drop your dogs in. Again, it's exactly the same there. 5 minutes, you're golden. The dogs will be done. This version is generally the one you'll find on hot dog carts or things like that. The advantage is that you can do a lot of hot dogs like this very rapidly, and you can keep cycling them through the water. So it's great for large group gatherings and food stalls and things like that. The reason it gets called dirty dishwasher is the water will turn slightly gray after you've boiled the dogs, and while not the most complimentary description, it certainly does feel like a Chicago nickname. If you're doing this style, use skinless hot dogs as they're going to be your best bet since they won't explode and split the dog outwards. As always, a thank you to everyone for watching the videos and sharing, liking, and commenting. It really helps the channel grow, and all those interactions really add up, and it helps me and the kitties out, and we truly appreciate your help. And for those who are not already subscribed, subscribe for more like this and other food-related nonsense, and of course, pictures of kittens. So, for our construction, I suggest this order, but you could move the tomatoes to the front of the line if they're a little bit thicker. If they're thin enough, they'll flex just fine. The order would be hot dog, then the pickle spear next to the tomatoes, following by hopefully a nicer squiggly of mustard than mine turned out to be, then our shockingly green relish, followed by onions, and then sport peppers and our celery salt at the very end. Since they can be a bit hard to find, sport peppers are very close to peperoncinis, so again, that makes a good substitute if you need to make a substitute. Certainly explains the drag it through the garden moniker that some people associate with this hot dog because of all the toppings there. And with that, we've made one of the more famous styles of hot dogs. This is really a place where using the right ingredients does pay off, though. Having the sweet relish, the celery salt, and even the sport peppers, if you can find them, really do make a noticeable difference, except for the sport peppers. Even if you can't get the hard-to-find ones, though, and use all substitute, it's still going to be a great hot dog, so don't worry if you can't find everything. And with that, as always, I thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day and a great meal.